The British, when they arrived in South Africa, had only one interest, and that was to take gold and other precious stones of South Africa. Conflict developed between the British and the Dutch over these resources, which ultimately erupted into the First Anglo-Boer War in 1881. After the Second Anglo-Boer War of 1899 to 1902, the British, though they won the war, realized that to further their interests in South Africa, they needed the Afrikaners. They could not afford to fight the rebellion of the natives and that of the Afrikaners at the same time. Therefore they changed their discriminative approach toward the Afrikaners and signed a truce with the Afrikaners. In 1910 the British formulated the Union of South Africa, in which the Afrikaners were given the status to govern South Africa, but under the British rule, as a British colony. According to the agreement, the Afrikaners will keep the land, while the British had their sights set on gold. The British would create jobs for poor Afrikaners, employing them as managers in their machinery manufacturing companies and in their mining holdings. The natives were to be employed only as cheap, unskilled labor at the mines and factories. The Afrikaners, as the managers of South Africa, and also managers at workplaces, were tasked with exerting pressure on the natives for compliance. The natives were stripped of political rights, they were not to be eligible for voting and were not supposed to own land. That is how the British laid the governing principles for the Afrikaners' ruling of South Africa. Under that rule the natives were oppressed and ridiculed. Natives were subjected to forced labor. These are the same founding principles of what later came to be known as apartheid in South Africa. The 1949 Constitution of South Africa, which was a precursor to apartheid, had its foundation laws and framework from the 1910 Union of South Africa that was formulated by the British. In 1949 this segregation system was put into the state's constitution. The concept of apartheid was formed by the British and dictated by the Afrikaners on the natives on behalf of the British. The British further turned the Afrikaners and the natives against each other, to ensure that the two groups does not join ranks and overthrow the British rule in South Africa. The British pretended to sympathize with the natives, while keeping close ties with the Afrikaners and dining with them behind closed doors. The British took advantage of the politics of South Africa and fueled the turmoil that allowed the British to loot the resources unchallenged. The extract used as source material for validity of the information that is presented in this video is from the Encyclopaedia Britannica website. Britannica is a British entity, and therefore most likely to give correct account of their British history.